Is this it? Are we in the new normal yet, or are we stuck in between, not quite ready to forget the old normal? The old ordinary ways, the typical, standard, expected, every day of that reliable, consistent, now out of reach past. Because when is the future and how long will this last? The question we keep asking again and again, when will this be over? And even then, when we get to the other side, can we simply go back? Turn around and run along the already beaten track, or are there some changes that we are going to have to make? Are there things to let go of, traditions to break? And don't get me wrong, there are many things I hope to redo soon. I'm ready to burst out from my invisible cocoon just to embrace my friends and family. No more waving from afar, but shaking hands and patting backs to feel the beating of their hearts, without the fear that simply being less than 2 meters apart might kill them or me. I can't wait for the worry to depart, where I can sing my favourite songs at the top of my lungs, arms cast up with abandon, to feel myself among the heat and the sweat of a crowd once more, the beat in my ears, feet sticking to the floor, and I know that might not sound all that great to you, but it's one of the things I miss. You'll have your things too. Like, do you remember when the supermarket didn't have a queue, or that sweet time in your life when you had never heard of Zoom, when you could eat at a restaurant and drink in a bar, when you could pack up your bags and hop in your car and go wherever you wanted, whether far or near, those easy and non-essential journeys of yesteryear? Yeah, it's a strange time. How much have you heard that said, with its online quizzes, PE with Joe Wicks, and all that banana bread, this lockdown, this quarantine, this self-isolation, a world stuck in limbo, as nation upon nation is brought to a standstill. Our great big world confined now in 4 solitary brick walls, and if you're lucky, a back garden. And it's worse than strange, the suffering unimaginable at times, goodbyes through iPads, online funerals, people confined in homes where they fear for their safety and for their very lives, job losses, financial crises, people wondering how they'll survive, and then there are those whose jobs are now much harder, with not enough PPE, like being forced into battle with no armour. But in some ways, this lockdown has had a certain appeal. Just look how the wearied earth is beginning to heal, no longer choking on all our toxic, deadly fumes, but allowed to rest from our unsustainable need to consume. How good it has been to slow everything down and reflect, become more aware of my surroundings, and find new ways to connect. You see, the old way of doing things, the old normal, if you like, well, it wasn't all that great sometimes. There are things that we should leave behind, like working social workers and teachers till they burn out, and expecting our doctors and nurses to carry on without the funding, the equipment, the pay rises they deserve. A clap on a Thursday is nice, but please, when we return to some sense of normality, let us not forget that it wasn't really the government or celebrities that got us through this mess, but the radical humility of the normal people, those who we only just now label as heroes. People that did not choose to do these jobs with the vain hope for power or for glory, but because they see each human life as important, extraordinary, because they understand where humanity's greatest power lies, in putting others before ourselves, in laying down our pride to care for the sick and to give to the poor, to seek justice for the oppressed with no expectation of reward. I think Vincent, when he said this, summed it up well. There is nothing more truly artistic than to love other people. And you have heard it said that the poor in spirit will be blessed, that where you find your treasure, so your heart will also rest, that the kingdom of heaven belongs to those that recognize their need of Him, not to those who serve money, those blinded by their greed. So let us rebuild then this crumbling economy with justice and intent to make it work for everyone, not just the 1%. And let us comfort all those who mourn in whatever way we can, remembering that behind every statistic there once dwelled a human, a person with a story that knew what it was to be, to have joy and sadness, hope, despair, and everything in between. Let us remember all those who have tragically lost their lives and declare like John Donne, O death, be not proud, for one day death shall die. And let us never consider normal this miracle of life, our beating hearts and firing nerves and imaginative minds. Let us wonder and create and cry and dance and hope and feel and sing and laugh and stop hurrying with our heads down, glued to our phones, but slowly now open your eyes and watch the trees as they grow from nothing. Empty branches now bursting with leaves, great blossoms of pink and yellow and green, and listen to the ebbing and flowing of the waves, the great lungs of the earth breathing in and out again. Watch the rising, setting sun and the waxing, waning moon. Let us not forget that we may lose it all if we don't make changes soon. God, I hope that we remember all the things that we have learned, that when the current storm is past, we don't just simply return to the older ways of the old normal that we once knew, but that we take this opportunity to refresh and to renew. And I say, let's not even call it the new normal anymore. There's nothing normal about this life on earth, that one thing's for sure. No, every moment, every breath, every note of every song, every night and every day and every right and every wrong, every leaf and every snowflake and every pebble on the beach, every breath that you breathe and every word that you speak, every laughter line on your face, every tear that falls from your eyes is a sign that you are here, not normal, but extraordinarily alive.